Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Karen from Organised with KLC, and today we're going to go through my brand new webinar, Less Mess, Less Stress. So let's get started. Let's share my screen. Lovely. There we go. Can everyone see? Thumbs up? Wonderful. So I'd like to start today by making an acknowledgement of country. So I begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and I'd like to pay my respects to their elders past and present. Also like to extend that respect to Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders peoples joining me here today. So just a brief rundown of what we'll cover today. I'd like to go over the importance of home organisation for your own health, also about the importance of teaching our children how and why we declutter first, organisational methods for the whole family, and then some maintenance tips at the end to help keep you organised. And then if you feel like you need some help, I will give you some guidance as to how to go about looking for some help. I'd like to start with a little bit about my organisational journey. I was a rather stressed out mother of three. I've got three young boys. We are a neurodivergent household, so things can be a little tricky at times. And I was an embryologist for over 13 years and struggling to keep the house in order and keep up with this very fast-paced, high-intensity career. I was really starting to feel really guilty that I wasn't able to keep my house in order how I really wanted it. And when I was, tidying my house, I felt guilty that I wasn't spending more time with my family. And when I was spending more time with my family, I felt guilty that the housework wasn't done. So it just got very overwhelming for me, as I'm sure a lot of other mothers find. So I went searching for a better way instead of this constant tidy, tidy, tidy. And that's when I discovered KonMari. I ended up doing my own tidy festival, which is decluttering and organising my entire home. And I went about seeking joy in other aspects of my home, not just in the items within my home. And that led me to make a career change. And so here I am today, a certified KonMari consultant, and I also do traditional professional organising as well, just for anyone else out there who's interested. So let's get started. So yes, how we feel about our home can have very big impacts on our health. And even if your home isn't particularly disorganised, just how you feel about your home can create, if you feel negative about your home, it creates these higher cortisol levels, which is that stress hormone. And we all know that stress is very bad for our bodies, both physically and mentally. And as a scientist at heart, if not in practice anymore, this is a study that I found really quite interesting that I wanted to share with you today. So a little bit more about the actual effect of stress on the body. We've got the short-term things of, feeling worried and that nervous butterfly effect in our tummy, all sorts of issues there, as you can see. But then the long-term effects, if this is something that keeps on happening, we feel stressed in our everyday lives, there's the headaches and the migraines, there's the mental health problems, really serious heart problems, digestion, the list really can go on. In contrast, the effect of an organised home is far-reaching. So we've got a reduction of those stress levels, excuse me, much better health with our digestion and our immune system, even weight loss. We've got increased productivity, much better relationships. No longer are we hiding at home, afraid of what people think of our home. We're able to invite people over. It improves your sleep quality. You got more confidence, more time, and also more money. No longer are you purchasing things that you don't really need anymore. And there's so many more benefits too. My clients often describe feeling lighter after a session. And so often we find something that's gotten lost that they thought they'd lost forever. Did you know that the average person spends 5 years of their life looking for things that they've lost? It's 5 years, and it'd be great to get that back. Now, I'm really committed to helping as many people as possible to organise their home because it has such a dramatic effect on the lives of the whole family. And I really want to make your life easier. So our role as parents, what do you see as your role as a parent? What do you what do you want to provide with our children? We often think of things like a safe environment, basic needs like food, shelter, their emotional needs. Do we want to be teaching them good values and morals, empathy and respect for others, discipline and boundaries, and of course education? Well, my view of my role as a parent is the end goal of raising my child to be better equipped with the necessary skills, values and support to become happy, well-adjusted and independent individual that are really capable of creating a positive impact on society. And I see that this involves teaching them how to maintain a home. I believe that you cannot maintain a home if you haven't been taught how to maintain a home. How many of us are taught by our parents how to maintain a home? How many of us truly teach our children how to maintain a home? Rather than just telling them, go to your room, tidy your room, do we actually show them how? Do we teach them? Some people are naturally good at tidying, but many people really struggle with this. And it even can come down to just not feeling like you've got your home exactly how you want it to be. It's not necessarily a big old mess. It's just not quite how you want it to be. And so today I want to give you as parents the knowledge and skills to make a real lasting difference in your home. And not only to make your life easier, but also to teach your children so that they are better equipped when they grow up. So how do we do this? Well, in my opinion, the KonMari method is the perfect place to start. It was developed by Marie Kondo. You may know her as the author of The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying. And she's also got 2 hit Netflix series. She's also written a number of other books, and very exciting news just the other day. She's in the process of writing a brand new book, which hopefully will be released soon. So just a brief rundown of the KonMari method. We start by setting a detailed goal and really imagining our ideal lifestyle. This is the why. Why are we doing this? It helps to create inspiration and help us keep going. First, we declutter, and that's done according to category, not by room. And then in the order of clothes, books, papers, and then the kimono, all those miscellaneous items, like in the kitchen, the linen cupboard, those sorts of places. And then the sentimental items, they're left until last. So we choose what to keep, not what to discard. This is done by joy checking. And when I talk about discarding, just note that I'd like you to consider donating items that are worthy of being donated. Also selling items, we can recycle them. Don't just think that everything that you don't want has to be rubbish and go straight to landfill. And then organisation's done last, and this is in a simple and easy to maintain method. So I'll go into a little bit more detail about these different steps. So setting your goals and defining your ideal lifestyle is number 1. So really think to yourself, why are you doing this? What are you hoping to achieve? And what would a tidy, more organized home mean for your life without all the time, the stress and energy focused on keeping your home tidy? You know, what are you going to be able to do with more time with your family, with your friends, doing things that you actually really enjoy? What about those hobbies that you've left behind? Really get clear. Then step 2 is the decluttering. So why in KonMari do we declutter by category? Well, it makes things a lot easier. It's easy to choose what to keep because you're comparing like with like. You're comparing a jumper with a jumper rather than a jumper and a book and a pencil, and it can get very overwhelming. You all can also see the volume of items. So using jumpers again for an example, if you bring all your jumpers together, you can see how many jumpers you've got. And, you know, if you've got 50 or 60 jumpers, you can say, well, I don't really need 60 jumpers. So it makes it that little bit easier to whittle them down to the ones that you really want to keep. It's also quicker because you're not stopping to put things away as you go. You've got all the items together, and you're not getting as distracted. You're able to maintain that momentum. You're less overwhelmed because you're just dealing with this little portion at one time, which means that you're less likely to give up and not finish. And then at the end, you've already grouped those items ready for storage and organisation. So how do you choose what you're keeping? Well, this is where the joy check comes in. When you bring all your items together from a category or even a subcategory, so you don't have to do all of your clothes all at once, you can just choose jumpers, you can just choose some pants, just choose some scarves, whatever you feel like you can manage in that space and time that you've got. And then looking at that pile, choose your favourite item, hold it and really feel the joy. Think about, you know, the last time you wore it, how it made you feel, and holding that sense of joy in you, move on to the other items in the pile and use that favourite item as the basis of keeping the other items. Imagine yourself using that item. You know, how is it going to improve your life? And will it support you in that ideal life that you've just described for yourself in that first step? So if you want to keep the item, you keep it. You keep it with confidence. It's yours. No one is here to tell you to throw everything out. And if it's an item that you decide that you don't want to keep anymore, then we decide to discard it with gratitude. Now, a lot of people often get to this point and they say, I hate cooking. So does that mean that I throw out all my pots and pans? That's just not practical. So this is where join function comes in. I like to use the example of a toilet brush. So on face value, a toilet brush isn't going to bring you very much joy, is it? But if that toilet brush does its job well and gives you a clean toilet, I'm sure a clean toilet does bring you joy. So if that toilet brush does its job, that's join function and we keep it. So discarding with gratitude, this is something that many people are a little bit nervous of. It makes them feel a little bit silly, but really thanking the item for the role it's played in your life is very therapeutic, and it can make letting go of those items that have got a bit of sentimentality to them that little bit easier, and it acknowledges the purpose of the items in your life. All items in our home, in our life, they have a purpose to us. Even if it is just to teach us that we don't like wearing that type of jumper, that's okay. It's taught us something. It's time to move on. And again, I'd like to reiterate discarding thoughtfully. Think of donating items. Maybe selling an item. You can recoup some of the cost of that item and do what you can to keep things out of landfill. Also finding a charity that you're really passionate about, like Vinnie's or Dress for Success. They again can be really helpful with helping you to part with an item. And I always like to emphasize for people to have an exit plan for their items. There's not really much point going through a declutter if the items never actually make it out the door and they end up creeping back into our homes. So I like to have, once we've made a decision that we're going to get rid of those items, get rid of them. So take them out and put them in the boot of your car, ready for donation. Take photographs if you're going to be selling them, and place them online for sale. But have an end date as well. So if after a week, 2 weeks, that item hasn't sold, have a plan as to what you're going to do with it next. Are you going to donate it instead? And also when it comes to gifting items, we want to be mindful that we don't want to move our clutter from our home into somebody else's home. So if you are going to be doing a declutter and you think that you might like to gift some of your items to some family or friends, maybe speak with them first and find out if there's something that they really would need. So we're talking about children's clothes. You know, do they need size 5 jumpers for their child, for example? So yes, just think about not passing clutter to your family and friends. So there can be many reasons why we hold on to things that we don't really want in our lives. It can be an attachment to the past. You know, I remember when I wore this item, but it no longer fits you. It's out of style. You're never going to wear it again. There's the fear of the future, I need to keep it just in case. There's also the guilt of, I should keep it because it was given to me by my great aunt. But, would they really mind? Would they even notice if you didn't have the item anymore? Also the aspirations and the hope, that one day I might read this book. One day I might fit into this pair of jeans. This really comes back to your goals in doing this in the first place. If that one day I might have more time to read the books, then yes, hold on to it, absolutely. If your goal is to have more time to, get out and go for walks and, exercise, and you want to have a healthier lifestyle, then yeah, sure, maybe you will get back into those genes. So hold on to those, but be mindful of the reality of these as well. And the last one is the cost. I don't want it, I don't need it, I don't use it, but it was expensive, so I have to keep it. Maybe think about selling the item, recoup some of that cost. Really be honest with yourself about what you need and what you want in your life. Step 3 is the organising. So we only organise once we've done the discarding. We don't want to be just packing away things we're never going to use. Our homes, they're not a museum, they're not a storage facility. We want to, live in our homes and use all the items in them. So it's very important to keep organisation simple and accessible. We want to make it really easy to put the item back after we've used it, and to store with use in mind. For example, kids' toys. Often we see on Instagram and Pinterest wonderful Lego storage, things that are stored by colour, for example. But is it really realistic that our children are going to put items away like that? Are they going to break down their creations and separate them into individual colours? Is that really how they're going to put things back? Or, do your kids like to create Lego out of kits? Would it make sense for you to keep kits together with the instructions? Or are they more, create whatever they like kind of children, that it's much better just have everything all in together? Is that better for your children? Store with use in mind and make sure that it's possible for them to put things away after themselves. Also, storing vertically where possible is fantastic. You can see this picture here of a drawer with the clothes. We're looking down on the drawer. So you can see all the items have filed vertically, and it's so much easier to just grab whatever item you want. You can see it and you can easily grab it and easily put it away. It's also important to store similar items together. So, have all your pants together, all your tops together when we're talking about clothes, for example. Also, you'll see on the bottom right, there's an electronics drawer. So, we've got the charger and all the cables and bits and bobs, storing similar items together so that this is electronic, it's got to go in the electronic drawer. Also, adding a label can make a huge difference, especially in a family. You know, people don't know, oh, you know, where does this go? Not sure. If it's got a label on the box, makes it so much easier. And of course, involve the whole family or your whole household in this organising process where possible, so that then everyone knows where to put things. Just do some little befores and afters for a bit of inspiration here now. You can see these drawers are very full of clothes and hard to get at what you want. They're all mixed up and disorganised. And now by adding a KonMari fold, you can see everything is stored vertically, easy to access, and it takes up far less space as well. There we go. So the KonMari fold, like I just mentioned, the idea of this is, of course, to make things smaller and easier to handle. And the aim is always to start by forming a rectangle. So you can see this example of a t-shirt. You fold the side over and then the sleeve back, copy on the opposite side, and you've got a perfect rectangle. Then it's just a matter of folding it smaller to make it easier to go in your drawers. So they could be folded in half, in threes, in fours, whatever you need to fit that space. And when it comes to forming the width of the rectangle, think about the actual storage space that you've got. If you've got dividers or inserts in your drawers, that's the width you're trying to work to. Otherwise, I like to just use the line of the collar, as you can see here in the very first picture, as my width guide. I'll just give you a little example of a client of mine. We'll call her Kate for privacy reasons. So before we went through her wardrobe, she was very stressed and overwhelmed. It was very hard for her to find her clothes in her wardrobe. It was very crowded. And her bedroom was very crowded because she actually had an extra wardrobe in her bedroom, and she would then spend Sundays planning her clothes for the week. So she'd hunt through this main wardrobe, pulling items out, putting them in this second wardrobe, so that, you know, she could get herself ready in the mornings. But after we went through and we decluttered and then probably organised her wardrobe, she didn't need to do this on a Sunday anymore, and she didn't need that additional wardrobe. So we had a special space in her wardrobe for all of her work clothes. So it was so easy in the morning. She was just able to open up the wardrobe, grab an item to wear, and off out the door she would go. So she had more space in her room, and the whole feeling of her bedroom was a lot less cramped and overwhelming. And she told me that she felt so much less stress when getting ready in the mornings, and that she felt lighter and more easy to breathe in her bedroom. This here is a children's bookcase, as you can see, books tumbling everywhere, hard to find what you want. And there was actually a number of bookshelves in this bedroom that we were able to whittle down to this one storage space here. And I'd like to emphasize that when it comes to decluttering a bookshelf, we don't need to be afraid of an empty shelf. So many people that, you know, they have this image of a bookshelf that's got to be full, and we've got to have it full of books. But really, an empty space on a bookshelf is a perfect spot to display sentimental items like these little furry friends. This one here is a home office. As you can see, lots of papers and bits and bobs everywhere, really hard to find what you want, and not really very productive workspace. In contrast to once it's been decluttered and properly organised, everything is just at the tip of your fingers and very easy to access. A linen cupboard now. Having some tubs like this makes it really easy to slide the tub out to access items at the back. And by adding a label, again, it's really, really easy to find what you're wanting. You know where they are, you know where to put them back, and the whole family is able to put the, you know, they've got a quilt cover, there you go, it goes in that quilt cover box, perfect. I also like to point out that when we're talking about people with ADHD, for example, or even others in the community, they're just a bit more out of sight, out of mind kind of people. Having a clear tub like this that you can see through and labels makes it so much easier to remember where the items are and where to put them back. This one here is a bit of an overcrowded laundry with really narrow, deep shelves. You can see on the right, I've used a number of clear, long boxes. These, a number of them have actually got rollers on the bottom, which help to protect the surface of the shelving. But you're able to grab the front of the box and pull it out, slide it out just like a drawer. So you can easily reach and access all those items at the back. Now, let's talk about the pantry a moment. If you're going to organise one space in your home, make it the pantry. It's such a small space, but we use it every single day, multiple times a day, and it can make a real big impact on your home, especially with the cost of living going up and that stress of trying to find something to prepare for dinner at the end of the day when you're exhausted. Every year, $2,000 worth of food is wasted per family per year. That equates to 1 in every 5 grocery bags. Now, if we've got a better organised pantry, imagine saving $2,000 a year. So I'd like you just to imagine for a moment. Imagine coming home from a long day at work and knowing exactly what you're going to prepare for dinner. And you can instantly access everything that you need. Your mornings, they feel stress-free as your kids pack their own lunch boxes, giving you the time you need to prepare for the day ahead. And best of all, there's no more guilt over wasted food that got lost in the back of the pantry. Some more before and afters of a kitchen here. So a bit of a declutter, some better organisational products. Again, here I've used long drawers, tubs as drawers. So again, you can just pull those out and reach all the items at the back. Now, sentimental items, that's the last KonMari category. Anything can be a sentimental item. Anything from any of the previous categories could be sentimental to you. Now, the reason why we leave these until last is because we can rely on your heightened sense of joy. It makes it easier to go through and joy check these items. Now, it's important to remember to ask yourself, will this item support me in my new ideal life moving forward? Remember that memories are within us, they're not actually in the object. I think, is it possible to take a picture of the item and keep the picture rather than the thing? And also keep with confidence. If it's something that you really want to keep, you keep it. This is your item, this is your life. But if you don't want to keep the item, then let it go, especially with gratitude. Thank the item for the role it's played in your life. Just these pictures here to the right, you can see there's some t-shirts that have been made into a blanket so they can actually be seen and enjoyed. They're not hidden away in a box somewhere, forgotten about. And then down the bottom, you can see there's a wonderful photo, or it could even be a greeting card from a relative that you really want to hold on to. They can be perfect for lining drawers, or have you got a special plate from maybe from your wedding china. Maybe you've had a marriage breakdown and a divorce. You don't really want to keep all this wedding china, but maybe you want to hold on to one item. Maybe you want to hold on to one small plate that you can have to store your jewelry on. Get creative about how you want to store and display your sentimental items, and let's not keep them in a box in the garage where they can, get forgotten about and eaten by rats or go moldy or something. Let's bring them out and enjoy them. So the last step in the process is the maintenance. So now, once your home is decluttered and organised, it's the maintenance that becomes so much easier. So I think that a really good first step is to sit down and discuss with your family why it means so much to you, and what your hopes are for your family in their contribution. The 10 minutes speed tidy is something that I recommend to all my clients. I think it works absolute wonders, especially with young kids. Children learn through repetition and through imitation. So if we can set a timer for 10 minutes or whatever time you've got at the end of the day, but preferably not over 15. I think 10 minutes is quite a good time there. And then you work as a whole family, one room at a time. Go through and put all the items away, and see if we can make a bit of a game, a bit of a competition out of it. Have teams. Mum and dad against the children, or mum with this child, dad with that child. See, who can put the most away in that 10 minutes before the timer goes off. Make a bit of a game out of it. And I think it's very important to stop when the timer goes off as well. Children can be very overwhelmed by the seemingly never-ending chore of tidying up. Where is the end to this? So if they know that there is an end, you've got a 10-minute timer on, and when that timer goes off, no matter what, you're done. You're finished for the night. That can really help to keep the children motivated and engaged in the task. And honestly, if you've been through and you've done a proper declutter and organisation of your space, excluding the kitchen, which, doing the dishes, etc., can take a while, 10 or 15 minutes should be long enough just to reset your home at the end of the day. You shouldn't need much longer than that. Always involve the kids as much as possible with everything that you're doing in the home. I think that's very important for children to learn from their parents. And if you get a lot of pushback from a partner that's not so supportive, or especially older teenage kids that just don't want to do it, work on you. Work on you, do your belongings. Don't ever throw out someone else's items. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. When we're doing a declutter, we work on our own items and choose what we want to keep and what to discard. We don't make that decision for someone else. Little children, that's an exception, but once they're able to make decisions for themselves, they should be involved in the process as much as possible. And if you still get pushback and people don't want to join you in this organisational journey, then let them be. Let them be in their space, and you work on your space and your joy, and hopefully they will see how wonderful it is for you and how much joy you're getting out of it, and then they will want to copy you. I think planning is vitally important, especially with a really busy family. So think about, a weekly or a monthly calendar somewhere that everybody can see, that you can add all those important things that need to be done. Maybe try having an actual family meeting. This is something that we do as a household. So once a week we sit down and we talk about what we're thankful for that's happened during the week. Thanks, Mum. I forgot my soccer gear and you brought it to me at school, so I didn't. I was able to do soccer that afternoon, so thank you, Mum, for that. Or, thank you, child number one, for picking up those things that I'd left. Or thank you for helping me with dinner. Whatever it might be. And then go on to, planning out your week. What does everybody want to achieve during the week? What have they got happening? And make a plan for the meals for the week as well, even if it's just the evening meals. That makes making a grocery shopping list so much easier. And we're far less likely to buy things that we don't want and end up getting wasted. A lot of people meal prep, or even just make twice the item that you need. Make a double batch of bolognese sauce and freeze some, for example. Then once you've got a really busy evening, it's easy to just pull something out of the freezer, reheat, and away you go. I like to do a daily to-do list as well. I know a lot of people go electronic with these things, and that's fine if that's what you like, but I just really love the therapeutic writing down what I want, putting my thoughts down on paper, and then also I'm able to cross it off once I'm done, which is just a wonderful feeling. And when it comes to doing a to-do list, I recommend being realistic about what you're going to accomplish in that day, and also start with something really positive for the first one of the day. So, I say, Monday the 31st, item number 1, have a great day. Tick, I'm going to have a great day today. And then number 2, go on to, I'm going to make a shopping list. I'm going to do a load of laundry, whatever it might be. But number 1, I'm going to have a good day, or I'm going to be productive, or I'm going to, really feel some joy today. I'm going to take some time for self-care today. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch an episode of Netflix. I'm going to do something for me today. And then lastly, of course, is to delegate tasks. We don't need to do it all ourselves, and we're actually doing our family a disservice by taking everything on ourselves. We can't do it. It's too overwhelming. And they need to learn. They need to learn what to do to keep the house running. If we get sick, the house falls down around our ears because they don't know how to take care of the home themselves. Now, some common concerns. I know that we're all very, very busy people. And I know that time is a really big concern for many, many people. So I ask, you already have so much time on your plate. How can you possibly find the time to organise your home? I ask you, how much time are you already spending at the moment cleaning and tidying your home? Can we shorten that by having a better decluttered and organised home? How much time do you spend looking for things that you've lost? And remember that 5 years of everybody's life, those finding things that have become lost. And if you schedule as little as just 1 hour a week into your diary, you will very, very quickly regain that time and more. And once properly organised, resetting your home at the end of that day really is so much quicker and easier. So I recommend that you make a commitment to yourself, just like booking a weekly class at the gym. Now, cost is another common concern, but I ask you, what is the cost of that clutter in your life right now? What is it actually costing you? I've already spoken about the cost to your mental and physical health, but what about the monetary cost? Did you know that in the US, they collectively spend $2.7 billion per year on replacing lost items? And have you thought about selling some of your unwanted items? Once you've organised your home properly, you'll become more mindful of your future purchases. Running out of the voice, saving you even more money. And honestly, can you afford not to get organised? By now, you may well be wondering, what it costs to hire a professional like myself to help you to organise your home. And it can be very difficult to answer this question, as everyone has a different home and different needs. Shortly, I'll be giving you a free offering for all of you, and no obligation, clutter-free breakthrough session, as my way of saying thank you for joining me here today. And during that private online session, we'll be discussing your specific needs, and I can help you to start formulating a plan to really break through your clutter problems. We'll also be able to discuss what it would look like to work with me. And if you decide to, and please keep in mind that I have packages and services to suit all budgets and even the busiest families. And I work both in person and virtually. So are you ready to start? First step is to make an action plan. Really consider your time and your energy levels. How much time do you have each day or each week to put into decluttering and organising your home? And please only pull out what you think that you can deal with in any one time. I think it's important to take regular breaks to avoid mental and physical fatigue. Organising really is very tiring. You're making so many decisions. It's really important to take regular breaks so that you don't get burnt out. Now, when it comes to the actual decluttering stage, I recommend that we have no music at all on, or if you really must have something, just some really soft background music, because we want to know that as we're going through the joy checking process, that it is the item that sparks joy for us, and not the music. You know, we don't want to be bopping around along to our favourite song and just keeping everything because we're feeling good. Once the decluttering is done, then you're on to organising, and you're folding those clothes, you're putting things away. Sure, go for it. Put on whatever you like. It's something that'll keep you motivated to keep going. And don't go out and buy organisational products until you see what you already have or already need. So many people, they're like, right, I'm going to get organised. And they go out and they buy tubs and boxes and bits and bobs, and they don't actually need them. They've ended up discarding half those items, so they don't need all those tubs. And maybe in the process of discarding, they discover all these tubs that they've already got. So, don't go out and buy things until you see what you really, really need. We don't want all these organisational products to become clutter in themselves. And then last of all, ask for help if you need it. Not everybody does need help. Once they've got an action plan and know how to declutter and organise, then they can go about it themselves. Ask a friend for help if you've got somebody that you think that you can trust to follow your lead and your direction. You don't want somebody who has their own thoughts on items, like, there's this jumper that you've decided to throw out, and they're like, oh, but that's great, I love that jumper, and it makes you second guess yourself. You need to be sure that this is what you want in your life, not what your friend wants for you in your life. So now just a little bit about my role as a consultant. So yes, I am a KonMari method coach. I guide and support people in this particular method, or in the traditional organisational method, if that's how they prefer to proceed. I'm there for accountability. I'm that human connection, because decluttering and organising can be very isolating, especially if you're someone who lives alone. I'm there as that second pair of hands, moving all those books down off your bookshelf, folding all those clothes. That can be hard work. So I'm that second pair of hands to help make the process easier. You're also going to find that you save time and save money, and also we're able to maintain momentum. People who work with a professional organiser, that often stay on track. They finish quicker. They're with a lot less stress. They're less likely to give up or become overwhelmed. They save money on organisational products that don't work, or that they don't really suit that situation. And also we're able to think of really out-of-the-box solutions that you may not think of. And I like to see myself as a professional trainer, but for your home. So, you can have that gym membership. You can take yourself off the gym, you can work out, but how often do we then lose momentum? We give up. We start going less and less. Maybe we've used some of the gym equipment incorrectly, and we've gotten injured. If we hire a professional trainer, we're more likely to stay on track and reach those goals. It's the same if you hire a professional organiser. So, yes, like I said, I do free 30-minute breakthrough sessions. These are held online via Zoom. It's a space for you as an individual. It's a private space for you to discuss your needs. And we can make a start on your KonMari journey, if that's the way you would like to proceed, by getting clear on your goals for your ideal life. And we can, discuss whether it makes sense for us to work together. You may not want to, and that's fine. This is totally pressure and obligation free. So you can see there is a link to book through one of these free sessions with me. I will also send a copy of this recording to everyone here today, and the link will be in there. So, questions. If you've got any questions, then please just pop them in the chat, or put your mic on and ask away. Also, I have Facebook and Instagram account that you can follow me on for lots of tips and tricks. You could also think about joining my Facebook group, which is Simplified Mum Life. And if you're feeling a little shy and don't want to talk about your question today, then feel free to email me at karen@organisewithkelsey.com.au. And of course, please remember the no obligation free 30-minute clutter breakthrough sessions. And as an additional thank you to everyone who joined me today, or, you know, if you're watching the recording, come back. I would like to give all my new clients a 20% discount on their very first tidying session with me. So just mention during your breakthrough session that you watched the Less Mess, Less Stress webinar, and I'll give you that 20% discount. So I would just like to say thank you for your time today. I'll stop screen sharing. And yes, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully I will see you in one of my free consult sessions soon. And even if not, best of luck and happy organising. Bye.